Wisconsin and its 10 electoral votes could be decisive in November. So we want to take some time to listen to what voters there have to say, especially in the swingiest of voters in the swingiest of states. These are Wisconsinites who voted for Donald Trump in 2016 and Joe Biden in 2020. Here they are weighing in on Vice President Kamala Harris taking over the Democratic ticket. Many say they're feeling some Barack Obama vibes.
I think she's similar because she's confident in what she says, but she's not egotistical. She's compassionate on the way she speaks and the way she delivers things.
I feel like I could probably get into a really good conversation with both of them, and they would actually listen.
When she talks, she does it with a sense of authority, and that means a lot.
Our thanks to Rich Tao and Engages for that. 8 of the 12 voters in the group say they'll vote for Harris. 1 would vote for Trump, 2 for RFK, 1 won't vote. I think what's fascinating when you listen, look, it's focus groups. We talk about polls being a snapshot in time. This is a snapshot of 12 people who voted specific ways in 16 and 20. 4 of the 12 said they plan not to vote for Biden and will now vote for Harris. I guess the question that I've had throughout is this a durable shift and a tangible shift, or is this just the moment we're in?
I think it is all three. I think it is the moment. I think Democrats are feeling optimistic again because they have a person at the top of the ticket that they feel can actually go out and make the case against Trump, something that, yes, people in DC did not feel that President Biden could do, but people out in the States also didn't feel that President Biden could do. I think that people are feeling more optimistic just about where America is right now. I think they have a little bit more money in their pocket, even if the prices are still high. I think that the stock market was a thing a week ago, but I think that financially people may be feeling a little bit smidgen better. And also they don't necessarily connect the negativity about the economy to the vice president just yet. And so I think that it is all three. It is a feeling of momentum shifting things in favor of the Democratic ticket that just did not exist 4 weeks ago.
Can I ask you, on the economy, they have some really fascinating comments or perceptions about the NABJ thing that I want to ask you about in a sec. But since we're talking about the economy, why is that? Like, why is Harris not necessarily tagged with the same kind of view that Biden was? Because actually, take a listen to this, being asked about the economy, what some of them said.
If the situation was different and we were able to have better wages, I could go out and do other things that are luxuries, like a gym membership, or if I want to get another car, just little things in your life that are going to make you as a person happy. I can't do because at the end of the day, it's a luxury. It's not a necessity. So I have to tell myself, no, you can't do that.
And what was fascinating for me about that quote is that's the breathing room that Joe Biden would always talk about. The focus group, when asked about Trump's economic policies, weren't super excited about them. They also acknowledged they think the economy now is in lousy shape, but they weren't blaming Harris for it.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is an age-old thing that we've found in polling cycle after cycle, that people talk about the economy. What they're really talking about often is how they feel about the person who's in charge. They clearly felt that Biden was old and that they didn't feel enthusiastic about voting for him. That was true before the debate. It was more true after the debate. They feel more enthusiastic about Kamala Harris, whether they are core Democrats or some of these swing voters who are being pulled in. And if that's the general feeling, it can tap into what is just realistically a better economic situation now than was true 4 years ago, right? And so that's a question for Harris.
And that's the big challenge for Donald Trump's campaign, has been defining Harris and tying her to Joe Biden's policies, which they've really been trying to do over the past few weeks. They've been trying to argue she is the vice president. She is just as responsible for the last 4 years as Joe Biden is. It doesn't seem to be hitting quite yet. I think the big question is, does it eventually shift if she does more off-the-cuff interviews, if she is seen more often? We don't know yet, really.
Yeah, look, this is a huge advantage for Trump and Trump's team. And when Trump talks on message, it is the economy, it's inflation, it's immigration. And those 3 issues, they are like plus 15 or 20 in everything you see in terms of national mood. And if that starts to shift, it's a huge problem. The other problem, too, is listen to how the focus group reacted to Donald Trump's appearance at NABJ.
He's just basically saying that she she can't, she's only just, pandering to whatever she feels. And she can be both Indian American and Black.
Feel like it's very racist and ignorant.
Ignorant.
Why would you even say something like that? Like, it's just foolish.
It's just disheartening to hear that from someone who's leading a country full of a mixing pot of people.
We should note, everyone said they were troubled by particularly the Kamala Harris became black comments. One person said they thought Trump said them because they were true at one point, but everyone was troubled by it. And I think to your point earlier, which the through line between Biden and Harris is they just want Trump out there. And people remember on some level. What does the campaign think about that?
Yeah, so I think it's interesting because when I go out and talk to voters who are critical of Donald Trump, most often it's because of comments like that. It's because of his posts on Truth Social, and a lot of people just say, I liked his policies, XYZ, but I just wish he would take a step back. And it's interesting too because there's sort of been a shift. A lot of what the campaign is doing and the super PAC associated with the campaign is focusing on the traditional issues, on the economy, on immigration, on the border. And then you see Donald Trump sort of getting into this different message. And now you have a campaign that's trying to figure out how do we sort of placate the candidate while also focusing on these issues that voters care about. That are, arguably what they want to hear more than this, DEI and whatnot.
But I would just say that the Trump campaign has been arguing for a month now that they were going to change, that he was going to change, that he was going to be this reformed candidate, that he was going to talk about unity, that he was going to talk about coming together. Listen, I was in that room at NABJ in Chicago last week. That was not about unity. That was about the former president making a point on that stage, because we all know that Kamala Harris has always been black. Yes, she is also South Asian American, but she is black. That is not something that people just thought was not true, right? So I think that the campaign really feels as though they don't know what to do with the former president, because he is going back to that 2016 grievance argument that was successful in 2016, but it doesn't feel as successful right now.
Right now, it's a reminder of 2017 through 2020. All right, guys, thank you very, very much.